YouTube. What is going on, y'all? Peace and blessings. Peace and blessings. Look, I know Seattle is coming off a rough showing on Sunday Night Football. If you guys weren't tuned into the game, if you guys haven't had a chance to watch the game, Seattle lost to the Green Bay Packers 30-13, and it was I'm speechless. Before I continue any further, for those of you guys that are new here, for those of you guys that are going to catch the replay, I'm your host. It's your boy, Steezy checking in and in the building. The name's Calvin Domingo, though Steezy is the game. And yes, I'm even getting my intro all mixed up. I'm at a loss for words, man. I really am. You guys have probably seen the stat ad nauseum, but the Seahawks, they're 4-0 in Seattle versus Green Bay since 2012. The last time that the Packers hadn't won in Seattle was all the way back in 2008, October 12th of 2008, to be specific. And tonight, I mean, not only did the Seahawks lose playoff positioning, not only did the Seahawks lose their grip on the NFC West, Geno Smith could potentially, now, obviously, there still has to be a bunch of testing and evaluating and whatnot, but from the looks of that injury, it didn't look good. And, with all due respect, Sam Howell didn't look good either. And I can't even talk right now. I can't talk. Look, I don't plan on being live for super long. I know I don't tend to do post-game shows very, very often. It's something I do want to kind of get into more. But there was a stat though that I saw. Per Next Gen Stats, the Seahawks has a 37. Excuse me. Gosh, yeah, I really can't talk. Per Next Gen Stats, Seattle now has a 37% chance of making the playoffs. And as it stands, if the playoffs were to start today, thankfully it doesn't, the Seahawks will be on the outside looking in. And so Seattle entered the night as the number 3 seed in the NFC, and now Seattle finds itself as the number 8 seed. Right, so they go from the number 3 seed to outside of the playoff picture. Now they're the NFC's number 8 seed, and with the game on tap against the 11-2 Minnesota Vikings, albeit at home next week, a lot could hinge on the outcome of that game as it pertains to Seattle's chances of making the playoffs. Week 18, though, in LA versus the Rams, depending on how their next couple of games turn out, that could be for the division. But if the Rams end up winning out until week 18, and let's say Seattle goes 1-1 in its next two, I don't even know if week 18 is going to be for the division. But if Seattle has any shot, or Seattle wants any chance of still making the playoffs, I mean, these next two games, I don't mean to play Captain Obvious here. They loom large, right? And yeah, it's the performance that we all witnessed tonight, obviously, it isn't the Seahawks football that we've grown accustomed to in the last 4 weeks. Seattle definitely fell way back down to earth. Some of you guys will point to Sam Howell entering and Seattle almost essentially losing the moment they entered the game. But even while Geno Smith was in the game, it never really seemed like Seattle was in it. Green Bay dominated the first half. What was it? They were up 20-3, 4 for 4 on all 4 of the possessions as far as scoring the football. I'm all out of whack. I haven't even had a chance to say what's up to the chat, man. Chat. Hopefully you guys are still here with me. We had AB here in the building. It looks like he's a Packers fan. He or she is a Packers fan. GG's before the show even started. Good game. Good game. We got Not Chief, man. One of my favorites in the building. Steezy, what's up, bro? Not Chief. All the way over there in Atlanta. It's almost midnight over there on the East Coast, and yet you're still taking the time to show some love, man. What's going on, bro? Thanks for tuning in, though, for real. We got my guy Larry Batista in the building, man. Yo, what's up, Steezy? What a crazy game. Yeah, I mean, like I said, at halftime, it was 20-3. It just never really felt like Seattle was really in it. Yeah, Seattle's defense in the second half, I felt like, made some strides. But overall, I mean, when you're giving up 7 sacks, when your 2 quarterbacks are throwing 2 interceptions, when your own defense can't come up with a single sack, this is the sort of result that you end up with. And obviously, it's not what any of us had anticipated, but back to the drawing board, right? Back to the drawing board. Going back to Geno Smith, though, if he is indeed out for the rest of the year or if he misses that game against the Vikings, I think he could pretty much kiss Seattle's chances of making the playoffs goodbye. I understand Sam Howell obviously didn't necessarily prepare for this game, but I don't think that I saw anything that give me confidence moving forward. DK Metcalf, statistically speaking, yet another subpar game under 30 yards. What was it? 3 catches, 428. JSN, 10 catches for 83. You guys can see the stat line here in the ticker below for most of Seattle's relevant players. Yeah, that pick at the end, Sam Howell, that essentially sealed the deal. Josh Jacobs, he didn't have 303 yards from scrimmage against the Seahawks this time, but he did finish with 136 in the first half. Was all about him. To me, it almost seemed like Josh Jacobs was on his way to another 200-plus yard performance against the Seahawks, given what we saw in the first half. Now, like I said, Seattle's defense did kind of tighten up in the second half, but just not enough. And with Sam Howell turning the ball over, taking sacks, he played less than Geno. Yeah, he took more sacks than Geno. What was it? 4 sacks to Geno's 3. It was a mess. It was a mess out there. Now, Chief agrees with me. Loss sucks, but they got to keep their heads up. I miss the atmosphere at Lumen used to have. Man, at the same. Speaking of that atmosphere at Lumen Field, I have a stat. The Seahawks are now 3-5 at home this season with one more game remaining. No matter what happens, though, Seattle's going to finish this year under 500 at home. So even if Seattle were to win next week against Minnesota, Seattle would finish 4-5 at home for the 2024 season. If they were to win, 4-5, still below 500, better than 3-5. But yeah, this is this most definitely a down year at home yet again. Disappointing. Going back to the chat here. Ooh, Andy Anderson's talking spicy. Geno needs to go with a bunch of exclamation points. It wasn't just Geno needs to go, period. It was Geno needs to go. Exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point. I don't want to overreact to Sunday Night Football, but I'm pretty damn sure this is going to be a similar sentiment shared amongst 12s in the days leading up to Week 16 versus the Minnesota Vikings. I'm not going to dive too deep into that. I'm going to let you guys kind of concentrate or focus on the Geno needs to go banter. I'm not ready to ride that train just yet. Like I said, Sam Howell didn't really show anything to inspire any sort of confidence moving forward. And so, again, to reiterate, if Geno Smith is out for any extended period of time, you can pretty much kiss Seattle's chances of making the postseason goodbye. Whew. Andy Anderson here. Seahawks need to grab Gabriel Dillon from Oregon in the 25 draft. They need 2 stud offensive lineman guys, an edge, a nose tackle, 2 linebackers, and a wide receiver. They need a stud tight end as well. Wow. Larry is saying, I hope we can beat the Vikings. I mean, shoot, I hope so too. But again, a lot of that is going to depend on what the quarterback situation is going to look like. If it's Sam Howell, I'm not very confident in, and I don't even think Seattle should look to make a playoff run. I think at that point, they'll never admit this. Players will never admit this. Obviously, players will never admit this. It's time to kind of play the draft positioning game, right? Not to say that the players or anybody on the organization is going to intentionally lose games, but again, a lot's going to hinge on Geno's health. We got Allen here in the building. I was watching the game the whole time at work. I just couldn't believe it. I'm in disbelief as well. I mean, for those of you guys that tuned in at the top of the show, I was all over the place, right? Like my intro, your mic isn't on. Oh, hold on. Your mic isn't on. Wait, can you guys hear me? If you guys can hear me, if you guys could put something in the chat, but if you can't, hold on. Give me a second, y'all. Give me a second. All right, now I was just watching a little playback here. I mean, I can hear myself, so I think my mic is on. I don't. Oh, I can hear you. Okay, I'm talking about the mic in front of you. uh, okay, hold on, man. I'm Benny Burn. I'm talking about the mic in front of you. I mean, hold on. Let me. Okay, just a second. Okay. All right, Benny Burnwell, I appreciate you for pointing that out. I guess this whole time I've been connected to my camera mic, and I think it's a little too late to kind of connect to this mic. I appreciate that, ladies and gentlemen. I apologize for that small delay. Let's resume here. Benny Burner, again, thank you. I guess for now we're gonna have to roll with the camera and mic. I guess I set up the wrong microphone pre-show. Apologies, you guys, but the show must go on, right? Michael, okay. All right, JB here. The Apostle John wrote about the angel of the church of Philadelphia in Revelation chapter 3, verse 7. John who collects the angel of the church of Philadelphia. He is here before the fire. 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 7. Okay. Agreed. I'm not too confident in making the playoffs without Geno with what I've seen from Sam Howell. Right. And again, he didn't have a whole lot of prep. I don't think, obviously, he was prepared to play the Packers. But again, the team was in complete disarray, especially offensively. The offensive line, Olu team, that injury was huge. Jalen Sindell, thought he held up well in the run game. But as far as pass protection, definitely left a lot to be desired. Not Chief here is saying, gonna head out. Steezy just wanted to come by and say, what's up? Take care, man. I should have went to sleep during the fourth quarter. Hey, I'm not going to sit here and agree with that, but I'm sure a lot of 12s would agree with that statement. It was not Chief. I appreciate you for taking the time to tune in. God bless always, and I'll see you in the next live. Sajid is in the building saying, hear you just fine. Ryan, I guess you guys can't hear me, but again, it's not from this mic. It's the camera mic, but again, it'll have to suffice just because we're already mid-show. And I don't plan on being live too much longer. I just wanted to kind of hop on and not really vent. I really wanted to hear you guys talk. Honestly, I'm speechless, man. I'm speechless. But here are some stats. Geno Smith and Sam Howell combined for 7 sacks taken and 2 interceptions versus the Packers. Seattle lost the turnover battle 2-1. The time of possession battle, 32 minutes and 58 seconds by the Packers. The Seattle's 27-02. The penalty battle, as far as penalty yards, Green Bay had 27 penalty yards. The Seattle's 108 penalty yards. The Seahawks defense finished tonight with 0 sacks. Talked about this earlier. The Seahawks are now 3-5 at home this season. Talked about this earlier. Per Next Gen stats, Seattle now has a 37% chance of making the playoffs. Right now, currently the number 8 seed. Outside looking in, the Commanders hold the 7th and final spot in the NFC playoff race. If Seattle loses next week, week 16, versus the Minnesota Vikings, obviously it's not going to be looking good. Alan here is asking, how do you feel about Josh Jobe? I like what he's brought to the table. I mean, for him to kind of rise up from the practice squad and earn significant playing time, playing significant snaps for this defense, I like Josh Jobe. I think that he can still improve in a few areas. But I think when you kind of consider the fact that, again, he rose up from the practice squad, now he's playing significant snaps. He's an above-average player. At least he has been playing that way for this defense. And so, other than that, there's not too much else I can say. Just because, I mean, tonight it was it was a complete letdown. I don't know what happened with the Seattle Seahawks. They just, it's completely out of sync. Completely out of sync. Completely out of sync. What do you guys think, man? What do you guys think? If Geno Smith is out, is it over for Seattle's playoff chances? If he ends up playing next week, how do you guys feel about him playing against an 11-2 Minnesota Vikings team? Vent to me, chat. I mean, this is you guys. I'm just, it's tough, man. It's tough. I'm not even using the right microphone. Like, what? Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. About that. Hey, my bad, brother. My bad. I guess we still got to see what Kyle Pitts is going to do tomorrow. Seattle's secondary has been shut down for the most part for the better part of the last 4 weeks. And tonight was just a complete letdown from all aspects. I mean, you guys watched the game. You guys saw the game. I mean, I don't really have too much else to add. That Minnesota Vikings team likes to blitz all day. They do. They do. Not Chief is back in the bed. I can't sleep. But basically everything that could have went wrong. Yeah, Seattle couldn't really get the run game going. I mean, when you're down 20-3 at the half, you start playing one-dimensional football, moving forward like we talked about. The defense tightened up in the second half, but it was just too little too late. Allen here saying we need a healthy Geno. Yeah, at this point, though, healthy Geno or not, I'm not sure I like Seattle's chances right now of being an 11-2 Minnesota Vikings football team. Yeah, I can't even talk right now, man. We got East Coast Gridiron in the building, man. What's going on, brother? Good to see you, bro. Good to see you, bro. Hey, great to see you, too. I haven't heard from you in a while. I've still been meaning to work with you. We still got to put that together, bro. But thanks for tuning in. Thanks for tapping in. Larry is saying we need Walker. We need K9 back. Most definitely. I think his presence could most certainly help Seattle in its quest to potentially beat the Minnesota Vikings next week. We'll see. That Vikings run defense is tops in the National Football League, so even that might not be enough. Sajin here saying, well, I'm not over losing the Giants game. I like Geno, but can't get behind them. No hater. We'll take a stats for loss instead of throwing the ball away, not running when no one is open. East Coast Gridiron here saying, we got to get you to write some articles for our website. Ooh. Yeah, thanks for the reminder, bro. I guess as I was rushing to get this show going, I connected to the wrong microphone. So I'm not even using this microphone. It's the camera's mic. But I'm just about done. Just about to wrap up this show. So I'll just make sure that the right microphone is set up next time. But I appreciate that. Thank you, bro. Thank you. We'll definitely get together, though. Hit me in the DMs, bro, and we'll talk about potentially writing articles. I mean, that'd be fun. Not Chief here saying just shows how important a good O-line is. Just a gut-wrenching loss. Yeah. Doom Moose is in the building. What's up, Doom? Steezy, you're just like an agent from Men in Black. After that game, I need you to deneutralize me. I'm staring right at the screen. Do the flashy thing now. Man. Honestly, dude, I've just like the Seahawks, I'm in disarray myself. I'm connected to the wrong microphone. I'm getting my words mixed up. Maybe it's contagious. I don't know. Benny Burner is saying how it's just starting. it depends on the severity of Geno's injury, but given what we saw and given how he was grimacing in pain, it looks bad. And he's going to have to be 100% if Seattle wants any chance of being the Vikings next week. Even if he was 100%, I mean, that Vikings team has been turning up. That defense is legit. I don't know, man. It's looking tough. Oh, all right. Just making sure you knew. Yes, sir. Thank you. But for real this time, I'm going to go to sleep. Take care, Steezy. Hopefully, let the Seahawks get back on track. Hey, man, we're going to see. Again, the health of Geno Smith and K9 will be critical moving forward. Is Sam Howell just sorry? No, he's not sorry. I mean, like I said earlier, he wasn't the one that was preparing to play the Green Bay Packers. A lot of quarterbacks will come in looking more ready than he did, but I don't know. The health of K9 will also be critical moving forward as it pertains to Seattle's playoff chances. Alan, do you think that hit on Geno was foul? This has been a topic of discussion, but like they said on the broadcast, they didn't think that it was an illegal or a dirty hit. Regardless, he's hurt, and this is the position that the Seahawks find themselves in. So whether or not it was dirty, I don't think that really plays much importance in regards to the bigger picture. Doing here is saying, I say give Sam a chance if he's playing next week. Sam needs to shake some rust off. He also camped in the pocket a la Geno. That's not him. We've been bouncing off of Geno's ceiling for 2 seasons. It's almost there, but never enough. It's frustrating. I'm ready to move on and be frustrated with Sammy. Yeah, I mean, look, 7 sacks taken, 2 interceptions from the 2 quarterbacks combined. Geno Smith, that red zone pick was bad. I mean, Seattle was gaining some momentum on that drive right after halftime. And then for him to kind of throw that pick in that situation, according to the NBC broadcast, Geno Smith leads the NFL in red zone turnovers over the last 2 seasons. And so that's just not going to cut it. Again, even if he's healthy against Minnesota, a very blitz-happy team, a team that's fielded one of the best defenses in the entire NFL, I don't know if I really even like Seattle's chances. Olu Oluwatimi, Seattle's starting center, his status is also going to be one to kind of monitor over the week. It's not looking too good for Seattle right now. Not to play cats and obvious, but it's not looking good. Again, Seattle did fall 32-13 to the Green Bay Packers, a team that they've been beaten up on regularly in Seattle. Over at Lambeau, yeah, it's been a different story, but I don't know, man. Doing here saying Geno's among the fastest on his legs in the league, but he doesn't make his legs a threat. To make them a threat, he has to use them. He limits himself by camping in the pocket and taking sacks. You know, I can't disagree here. I would like to see him run more, and we've seen flashes of that, right? Obviously, that 49ers game rings a bell, but you're right, dude. I mean, he just doesn't use the wheels enough. How else do we put that? I mean, Jeff in the building, no more lime jerseys, and it's really time to draft a quarterback. You think? LOL. Look, even if Geno Smith were to sign, let's say, like a 1 or 2 year extension to remain in Seattle, I'd say Seattle still should draft a quarterback just so that, you know, Mike McDonald can say that he's had an opportunity to groom a quarterback of his desire. I know that, yes, him and John went after Sam Howell, but I'm talking about a quarterback that they could draft and develop together. So regardless of whether or not Geno signs an extension, it is most definitely time to draft a quarterback. Even if Geno Smith is still the guy for the next 2 to 3 years, it is still time to draft a quarterback. Yes, I'm in agreement with you, Jeff. Here goes the rest of the schedule, though. I put this up on the screen earlier. Week 16 next week versus the Vikings at home. That game will tell us almost everything we need to know in regards to Seattle's playoff chances. Week 17, Thursday Night Football, a day after Christmas, in Chicago versus the Bears. Obviously, the Bears are in disarray themselves, and so we'll see what happens here. Seattle could very well, maybe they're not eliminated, if they were to lose to Minnesota next week, but I don't know if this game will have a lot of implications if Seattle were to lose against Minnesota. Going back to the chat, though, Alan here is saying if Seahawks draft a new quarterback, it's going to take us a while to get back to playoff contention. I don't know about that, though. The defense, again, they stepped up in the second half. It was too little too late, but the defense, I still believe, is going to be one of the brightest spots, if not the brightest spot on this football team moving forward. There's still a lot of talent at the skill positions. Offensive line, they did take a step back today, but again, Oluwatimi, not being healthy certainly changed the dynamic of things. So I don't agree with you, Alan, in that it'll take Seattle a while to get back into playoff contention. Perhaps a step back next year or the year after that. But I do see playoffs in the near future. Doing here is saying draft a quarterback in a good draft year, draft for defense, and pay for proven O-line studs. Maybe let Grubb go. I don't know about that. I think that'd be apologies, y'all. But no, like I was saying though, I think he's definitely had a bunch of ups and downs, maybe more so downs, but I think that'd be overreacting. I'd still look to give him another chance, one more year. Sajin here is saying, been hearing people say sell the team because of tonight's game. More cheeseheads than 12s in the stand. I think that's a topic for a different day, Sajin. I don't even have it in me to get into this conversation. Again, as you guys have been able to hear for yourselves, I mean, I've been in disarray myself. I think whatever ailed Seattle at Lumen Field today has traveled and made its way into the Steezy studio. Because just like the Seahawks, I've been in disarray this entire show. Emmett is in the building. Hey there, Steez. So for those of you guys that are familiar with the Boelt, you guys might recognize Mr. Emmett Savoris, one of the co-hosts of the Boelt, our residential Packers fan. I think he just wanted to pop in and I don't know if he wanted to talk mess, but Emmett, bragging rights are yours. Say whatever you need to say. It's actually kind of funny because I made a bet with somebody on Instagram, a Packers fan. I don't even know the dude, but I put $10 on the game. I'm not really looking forward to checking my DMs because he probably DM'd me asking for his money. I'm just glad I didn't bet you, Emmett. But, yo, good game, and congratulations to your Packers. Thanks for stopping by, Emmett. Doing here saying John Ryan raised the flag with more tenacity than we played with. Yeah, John Ryan, and that energy he came in with, I loved it. I loved every second of it. I just wish that Seattle would have been able to come with the same sort of intensity. First half, they most definitely didn't. Emmett is saying, long time no talk. Now, Emmett, I don't know if you're being sarcastic. Because I know that, you and I, we've been going back and forth in our Boelt group chat. I've been talking mess here and there, and obviously you have the bragging rights, so feel free to talk as much mess as you want. I kind of wanted to see Marcus in here. Go Talk Podcast with Marcus. For those of you guys that are familiar, I've had him on the show here a bunch of times. I've been on the show a bunch of times. Another Packers fan, a friend of mine. There's only so many Packer fans that I could tolerate as friends, but he's definitely one of them. And Emmett over here is another one of them. Shout out to Justin Marville if he's tuned in. Jeff here is asking, which quarterbacks interest you in the draft? And who would you like them to draft for? Or at quarterback? Thoughts? Honestly, Jeff, I don't really have anybody at the top of my head right now. Probably a topic for a different show. I apologize. Sergeant here is saying congrats to Emmett. Emmett here is saying GG's, of course. Packer wide receivers had a lot more success against Spoon and Reek than I thought they would have. Right. And Seahawks receivers not named Jackson Smith and Jigba had a lot less success than I thought that they would have versus a team that was missing its best cornerback. Emmett, you and I talked about it, not having Jair Alexander. I mean, the struggles have been documented. Geno Smith wasn't able to exploit any of that while he was there. Obviously, Sam Howell didn't as well. Reek, there were a few penalties on him, pass interference, holding calls that they were just playing bad. I mean, my gosh. Oh, and bro's already asking about it. What you think about Reek's performance tonight? I'm gonna just call it how I see it. And Reek, if you end up seeing this, you know it's all love, bro. But it was a horrible performance. And Emmett here is agreeing with me for the most part. Might have been Reek's his worst game as a pro. Oh wow. Now some might argue that overtime loss to the Rams, that might have been his worst performance as a pro. Either way, that outing, tonight's outing, does he deserve an extension? Oh, most definitely. I still think that a lot of the good that he's accomplished over the last few seasons, I still think that warrants an extension. Now, does he warrant an extension that makes him one of the 5-10 highest paid corners in all of the National Football League? Most likely not. But an extension, yes. Allen is saying, no lie, Jordan Love has developed into a good quarterback. Got to give him his credit, fam. Hey, no doubt about that. Allen, great point. I mean, he's a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. I don't know why anybody would think otherwise. Top 10 quarterback in the NFL. He's been taking care of the football. Josh Jacobs obviously has been the catalyst over the last month or so. Oh, man. Yeah, it was an ugly performance tonight, 12s. But Team Steezy family, chat, I appreciate you guys for hanging in there, not just with the Seahawks, but with me. I mean, yeah, tonight's show just it didn't really. This wasn't the show that I had planned. I had a bunch of different things that I wanted to talk about. If the Seahawks were to have won this game, I didn't have it on my bingo card. I didn't expect a loss, and yeah, sorry guys, this wasn't the best show. Go Hawks though. Hey, I still believe, man. We should still believe. But I'm gonna call it a show, though, you guys. Sajin is still holding out hope. NFC West is still open. Yes. The Rams do have that head-to-head tiebreaker over us, though. So as it stands right now, the Rams are the number 3 seed, current leaders in the NFC West. Seattle outside looking in. What separates us, in my opinion, a good team from the elite teams? Bro saying I still believe. I do too. But to answer your question, before I do wrap things up here, what separates us from the elite teams? For one, an experienced coaching staff, right? And this isn't in any order whatsoever. I'm just kind of listing things off. Seattle also lacks a consistent offensive line or consistent performances from its offensive line. Let's just say, so consistent offensive line play, consistent / quality offensive line play, inexperience on the coaching staff, and I think, dare I say, a quarterback that lacks that Super Bowl sort of ceiling. Those are the three things I can kind of think of off the top of my head that separates Seattle from the elite teams. Because Seattle is a good team. Now, I know Emmett would disagree with me. Seattle is a good team, not a great team. So you make a fair point there. But again, inexperience in the coaching staff, a quarterback that has a clear ceiling, and reliable / quality / consistent play from the offensive line. Jeff here, no worries about selecting a quarterback in the draft. I do have another question. If Hawks lose to Minnesota, are we out of the playoffs? I think it's dependent on how the Commanders, and real quick, let's actually take a look at that before I do wrap things up here, chat. Commanders, let's look up the Commanders schedule. Ooh, okay. So the Commanders are at home versus the 12-2 Philadelphia Eagles. They have the Falcons at home after that, and then they end the year off in Dallas versus the Cowboys. And so, Jeff, to answer your question, if the Commanders were to lose next week, and a lot is also contingent on what happens with Arizona. Give me just a second, you guys. Sorry, guys, but to answer your question, though, Jeff, if the Hawks lose, not necessarily, because there's also a very real chance that the Commanders lose. Let's look up the Cardinals schedule, too, because obviously that's going to matter. Cardinals here. They have the Panthers, the Rams, and the Niners. So there's a lot of variables in play, but Jeff, to answer your question, though, one more time, if the Seahawks lose to Minnesota, no, Seattle is not out of the playoff race just yet, but that would all but no, I'm just going to stick to that answer. I'm still all over the place here. No, okay, look, no, because there's still a lot that depends on what the Commanders are able to do and what the Cardinals are able to do. And to a degree, Seattle still kind of controls its destiny in Week 18 versus the Rams. So a lot's also going to depend on how the Rams and the rest of their schedule kind of plays out. So no. What position do you think we draft with our first pick? Got to be an offensive lineman. Got to be. Sam Dog in the building, man. That was a hard game to be at tonight. Hey. If you're not already on the way home, bro, get home safe. I appreciate you for taking the time to tune in. I am about to wrap this up, though, Sam Dog. Thank you for tapping in. We need to build up the O-line some more. So we're on the same page. Eventually, we need to get a quarterback of the future, but we still need to fix the trenches some more. No doubt about that. Been home. All right, well, that's good. But, hey, y'all, as always, though, as per usual, peace and blessings. Peace and blessings. Steezy out, baby. I hope you guys have a blessed night. Thanks for taking the time to tune in. I apologize. Tonight's show, the quality of tonight's show, it's not where I wanted it to be. But regardless, you guys are still tapped in, showing love, and I can't thank you enough for that. Can't thank you enough for that. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Steezy Smith TV if you aren't already, and you'll be entered into drawing to win free Team Steezy merch. Don't forget to hit that notification bell so you don't ever miss a live show on this channel. It's always love, you guys. I will go live again sometime this week. Just stay tuned. Pay attention to the community tab. Follow me on Instagram for updates. It's still love, you guys. It's still love. One more chat here. Thank you, brother, man. Sajin, thank you, brother, man. You guys are the MVPs. All right, you guys are the real MVPs. You guys are the real MVPs. But hey, nothing but love, y'all. Peace and blessings. Have a blessed rest of your night. Praise Jesus always. And Steezy out, baby.
Again, this video is going to be dedicated to Mr. Todd Nas. While that concludes this video, we have loads of other content. You don't have to stop watching there. Other content on our channel homepage, as well as our social media platforms. And again, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for us. Tell a friend and tell a friend. Nothing but love, and Steezy out.